too. All fixed.
Awesome.
Shaved for the first time.
So
You shaved just for us, Max? Oh, sweet.
Yeah, well, Peterson, the general.
Yeah.
well, let's start. We have a lot of guests, and I think I'm just going to go by alphabetical order. We're going to start with Max from the Boneless Ones, and welcome, Max.
Okay.
Great to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and for those of you, lots of people on this call know this band, but maybe new to some of you. So, Boneless Ones is a band from, you guys based out of San Francisco Bay Area, right?
Berkeley.
And,
Close
that's
there,
right.
we're all
Awesome.
primarily all grew up together in Berkeley. My older brother was the first drummer in Fang, so I've been involved in the music industry. He's the drummer on the Landshark record with The Money Will Roll Right In and all that stuff. So I've been involved in music industries a little bit. So I've taken into show Milky Way Gardens, the code of honor, you know. So at any rate, yeah, we're from Berkeley.
Okay, awesome. Start the band since people are still joining. I'm going to play a song.
Sweet. Our singer's there.
Yes.
Awesome.
Kinda.
All right.
Trying to get it set up.
You got kicked out of the house, it looks like. She's helping a dog out.
Chain box. It's so hot.
Cool.
Like, oh my god. You guys are even wearing shirts.
We got most like we got a bunch of kids who like Death Wishes.
None of us
This
are
is a
wearing
great-
pants, right? Hey, John's there too. What the hell? We got almost the whole band here.
This is a great drinking. This is a great drinking song. It's
Okay.
keg flowing. Oh,
Yes.
wow.
That's good.
So classic, great one. So hang on. This is ready.
Nice shot.
Missed me. Hell yeah.
Go.
Cool.
So cheers, everyone. Enjoy the song, and we'll just wait.
Fucking love this record. Fuck yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, I love it, man.
Mm.
that ruled.
Jason was a friend of mine.
That's cool.
That was actually from the Thrasher Skate Rock 3 record. And
Fuck yeah.
it is on the re-release, the Beer City re-release. But anyway.
That's the first record I heard of Boneless Ones from, was the Skate Rock from that one.
I get that a lot. It's you know, we've only been back together for a year, so it's not
Yeah.
like the Boneless Ones. It's all pretty fucking quick for all of us involved in it. The guys have been working. You know, I owned a clothing company in San Francisco. I didn't really go anywhere. Troy's down in LA producing films. So the secret behind the soundtracks that we're doing, people scratch their fucking heads. The Bounty Hunter is with Aerosmith and Rolling Stones. I scratched my head when I got that and couldn't believe it. So Troy is down. Our bass player works in film. So how do we do it? We're paying somebody. What the fucking story is. So
Yeah.
while it's broken up, the whole thing is, the whole animal has still been growing. It's the fucking craziest thing. It's so out there. And 80 skateboarding is where it's at right now. It's just,
Yeah.
all of us
I'm coming back.
we're all
Right,
used to
so-
ride a skateboard.
Your video is gone, Max. What's up? Is it fucked up? Okay.
I don't know.
It's just
Can
me.
you hear me?
It could be me.
We could hear you. We could hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see Max anymore either. So Max, so that came out in 80. That came out on the compilations, right? The
Skate Rock.
the Skate Rock Volume 3, and then also them boners be popping from 1985.
Yeah. With Jason Fang and all the guys.
Right. So tell us about how I mean, that was a long time ago, and like you were starting to kind of talk about the reunion. So what came about? What transpired you guys to get back together after all this time?
There's old friend of ours named Eddie. Eddie is the person there, and he has the team and also all the Jack down and he asked to reunite and play for the Hate Street Fair last year on June 10th. So it's been just a year, a little more than a year, 13 months. So we've been back together. So we were asked to reunite to play that show. It was great. It was perfect. It was so much fun. We decided to keep doing it. So.
Awesome. It was fabulous. I was there, and
I was there.
yeah, it was a great time.
So right on.
So I know Chris Contos. Was he in the band before, or have you been?
Chris was our in 1986 and 1987 writers. We were breaking up. The band morphed into a band called Hell's Kitchen, which is another pretty widely known band, East Bay heavy metal band. And so Chris was our drummer right at the end.
Awesome. Yeah, it was fabulous. You guys did a great job, and yeah, since we didn't have Hate Street Fair this year because of COVID, it was kind of a nice memory to kind of think about from last year. So yeah,
well,
great job.
That.
Are you guys working on any new material?
Community yet, geez Louise. We are working on some new material. A couple different things are happening. So our album literally just shipped out to the customers last Friday. There were a couple delays, but so Mike at Beer City. Beer City is a label back in Milwaukee, hence the name Beer City. He does reissues of the only band that he really handles is DRI, which everybody, speaking of bands, right? And so the only band he really handles as far as touring groups are DRI and the Boneless Ones right now. NBC to a certain extent. So Mike reissues older bands' records. So he's just putting Escape for the Devil out. It came out, shipped, like I said, last Friday. We are working, there's a video that we were featured in called Sick Boys, skateboard video that came out in 1988. There's a track on there called Church of Violence. It was lost. We literally lost tape. Couldn't find the tape just finally turned back up the master. So we are going to release that as a 7-inch by the end of the year. Moving forward, we'll probably do our next, we will record. we're working on new songs now, and that album could come out in late in 2021 on Beer City. So
Great.
yes, long story there to get to the end there, but yes, there's stuff happening. Here's the deal: we have a catalog of old music. As far as the album goes, 5 out of the 8 songs are now. Beer City was approached by Thrasher Magazine 2 weeks ago, and to use one more song for Monster Energy Drink Thrasher Magazine film that they're doing. So they bought one of our songs. So 5 songs off the album have been used in soundtrack. It's the craziest fucking thing. 5 songs on soundtrack.
That's great. Congratulations.
So we are. I don't know where I was going with this, but yeah, we're working on new stuff. Man, think of a sophomore album, a fucking follow-up album, 37 years later. I mean, geez Louise, it's going to be interesting to write. You know what I mean? It's going to be nutty. So.
Yeah, no, that's cool, and congratulations. Because when I was listening to the album and that beer song, it's still relevant. It's still fresh. When I listen to it, it's like that was in '86. So it's great stuff. And I'm glad there's a new life to it. So for all the
and I appreciate that. Being from Berkeley, we were pretty lousy with the guys in Exodus. I mean, we grew up. It wasn't meet them. Oh, I met him at Ruthie's in the parking lot. These are guys we went to junior high school with. So the secret sauce in Berkeley that people don't realize. Oh, what's in the water? What's in the water? Joe Satriani was a guitar teacher whose office was 2 blocks from our junior high school. It was $15 for a half an hour lesson, and I'm not fucking making it up. So as kids, our bass player took lessons from Joe Satriani. I think any of these guys that are from the East Bay know all this. But so the secret sauce in all this, believe it or not, is Joe Satriani. So these licks that everybody plays, I mean, all the guys from from Laws Rocket to Possess to, I mean, it's crazy. We're all lumped kind of together being in this one group. Music relevant, I completely agree with you. That's a term I use. But all of the East Bay, all that music is still pretty. I mean, Bonded by Blood is still got to be one of my top 5 albums. Period. You know what I mean? I mean, and I don't know. I agree with you, and I appreciate you saying that. But I feel that same thing goes for a lot of the bands that came out of the same area we're from.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, we're very lucky to be here and be able to experience it firsthand. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. It's really great.
And
I noticed.
Hey,
I'm sorry?
oh wait, you know what? There's a button. Did my camera come up?
No.
Hold on. Whoa, how about now?
Ah, there you are. Yep, we see you.
Okay, dude, I'm so sorry. After I just said all that, I just I'm so sorry, you guys.
Your story came across. That's the most important thing. Also, I noticed when I was looking at your album cover that it was Kent Matthew who did a lot of album covers back then. So
He did.
That was pretty cool. I was like, oh, I know who that is. So.
Violence or Forbidden?
Forbidden.
One of them.
Forbidden.
And Heathen.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. There you go. And Purple View. Jeez. Thank you. I didn't know that. I'm sorry, guys. He did. Yeah. Well, and here's the trippy part is this guy, Kevin Army, produced it. And he was just this low budget guy in San Leandro. I can't even remember the name of the studio. So he did our record. The next record he fucking did was Operation IV's one fucking record, Energy. Later on, he did Kerplunk by Green Day, and then one of their fucking majors. So the fucking weird old dude that we used in the 80s to do our record ended up being this guy later on. Wow. And we kind of talk about it, but people are all, dude, Green Day. And I'm like, yeah, okay, we won't talk about that anymore. It's just, but one fucking guy did. It's the East Bay. I'm back to the same thing. Right. Super micro little area. I tell people in Berkeley, we had Berkeley Square. We had random ass fucking clubs all over the place. Berkeley Square, Ruthie's End. We had venues of our own. You know what I mean? So, anyway.
Awesome. Thank you, Max. Yeah, looking forward to hearing your songs on those skater videos and stuff. So let us know. Keep us posted.
Thank you very much. And I appreciate your support here.
Of course. So let's moving on. Let's go to Deathwishkids, which is Mike and Nick.
We actually have the whole band here. John. got Dustin Phillips, bass
All these
player.
other Dick Petman there. That's our bass player.
Yeah, we're fully
Fucking
stocked.
dick.
Great.
That's fucking
Yeah,
great.
Actually, let's listen to a little bit before we start talking, so then everyone kind of gets an idea of what you guys are about. So 1 second here.
Our songs are really long, so you might set some time.
Don't play a shitty one. Play a good one.
I spent all afternoon like kind of cropping it to that point where we could like.
They're like 8 seconds each, so go ahead.
So. Okay.
You sound just like Ministry.
Yeah, play it.
Oh shoot!
Just one fix.
Pass them off.
Love that
So
song.
hang on 1 sec. That's right.
We're trying to write a song as fast as fix.
But as long as Indigata to Vita, right?
Right.
Wait, let me close that tab. Actually, I wanted to have that tab up. Hang on. Was the Deathwishkid your?
Cheers, gentlemen and ladies.
Thank you. Hey Nick, your video. I totally had it queued up. Your video for the video that you made, but I kind of fast forwarded about one minute to get to the stuff.
my artsy stuff.
Yeah, sorry.
I fucking love that video, Nick. That's a good job.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish I was in your band.
I don't know.
It's pretty fartsy, actually. I like it.
Nick, was it on YouTube? I totally had it queued up. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it should be on YouTube. Yeah.
Oh no, I know where it is. It's right here. Sorry, it's right here.
It's on Red too, not YouTube.
You're on your own. I have no idea how to pull any of this shit up. I'm not touching any buttons. I'm gonna fuck it up.
No, I got it. I had everything. I was gonna play it through. Here. I have it queued up, so don't be insulted, Nick, that I kind of got rid of that first part, but just to be succinct.
Yeah, I'm out here.
Sick. There it is. I like this. Good job, Nick. The rest of the band had nothing to do with this except for the music. Nick,
Hey, don't leave it too long. There's a brief penis at the very end. So.
Oh, you're wrong.
Keep going. No, please.
Always wanted to see penis. Just kidding.
That was really
I think it was
good.
Fight Club
I've
penis
seen
at the
Really
very end.
good.
What, John?
Really.
Actually forgot to look for that when I posted it on Facebook.
Yeah, it's
Down
gone high
there.
so far. Fight Club, they had the scene where he put fake penises when Brad Pitt worked in the thing. Well, I want to see if I could get away with it. But at the very end of the video, there's a single frame of it. It's actually the one from the movie, so.
It's really what the song was missing from the mix.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God.
Time. I
We
quit this
have
band,
all
dude.
the
I'm
guys
out.
from
I never seen the penis on there, dude. I didn't get that version.
back in the station. So, hey, so
I don't even know what we support
talk about the
anymore.
band.
So we all have penises.
And March talk.
Sorry, March.
He's
I'm gentleman-like.
Oh, hey, who wants to talk about Deathwishkids?
All right, I'll talk about us.
This band.
We
Okay,
are a punk band. We got Chris in the middle there on my screen. Chris with the glasses there. Mr. Chris, the headphones. We got John on drums, a bald guy. We're all bald. And Dick McCracken or whatever his name is. Oh yeah, Dick Cutman over there. That's Dustin. He's our bass player. Laying down the stumps. That was gay, sorry. And me, I play guitar too. And Nick's at the top. Nick St. Denis. He made that awesome video. We've been around for like 10 years in our living rooms, writing songs. No, Nick and John and I were in another band for a bunch of years together, and we just kind of kept jamming after that band broke up and started writing punk songs. We used to be like kind of a heavy pop wannabe band, and we said, fuck playing what the people want. We want to play hardcore. Let's go back to the roots and just play heavy shit and scream and not worried about radio play. And so, you know, we got Johnson and Dustin for years too. And I mean, we've all been in, I mean, Nick and John and I did a lot of this, and Chris was there with us years ago. And so was Dick Cutman, Dustin. And we just kind of pulled it together when Chris came in back in, maybe what, 2 years ago, something like that, about 2 years ago. Chris came back in and just, you know, we said, dude, we didn't really give it a fair shot last time. Let's do it again. And he came back and we went to the studio and just kind of had faith that he was going to kill it. And he did. He had the right mindset. We recorded pretty quickly and kind of wrote the vocals in the, well, he wrote the vocals in the studio and did a crazy job. Did the whole fucking record like on the spot. It was great.
Wow.
Had ideas, but he did an amazing job.
Sounded great.
What's that?
Yeah.
The video is an indicator of how it turned out. It sounds great. So.
Thank you. Yeah.
We had like all the phrasing and lyrics and everything, but it was like rough.
Yeah.
around the
No,
edges.
I mean, over how it seemed like every cut was like pretty phenomenal. I mean, I really like Kerosene. Maybe we could play that a little bit later. I like all of them actually. I was like, wow, each one is pretty good because usually you're like good, skip. Honestly, really.
We kind of treated it to like a pop song writing format, made every song like very basic format, easy for, you know, punk rock's kind of similar, just original rock and roll.
Yeah.
Made heavier, and we kind of did the same thing with the pop writing. Everything has verse, chorus, little bridge out, you know, nothing too crazy. It's easy for the masses. I mean, screaming in your face for people that like that kind of heavy shit. You know, I don't know. We didn't put that much thought into it, but that's kind of where we just came from with our last band, trying to be a pop band. We went through this circle of trying to get signed and all that shit, and, you know, and producers cutting us and saying, oh, everything has to be, you know, radio friendly. So we tried to get away from that a little bit, but it was kind of bred into us. So it's hopefully it came across.
So the thing is, you know, the band's been sort of like I said, it's been 10 years, but we spent 10 years writing like 9 2-minute songs.
Exactly.
We've kind of finally tuned these things over a decade, and you know, and Chris kind of had to do it last, you know, kind of, you know, on the spot. So we kind of put a lot of time.
Exactly. Wasn't
I
a
did it
super
for-
fast process. We had plenty of time to create that little 25-minute
I
record.
I was probably in it. I was in it for like a year and a half probably before we recorded, right?
Yeah.
Something like that? Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
It
really good.
almost
And I
sounded
think,
like a. Oh, sorry, March.
oh no, I mean, I think I saw you guys. Weren't you supporting Skin Lab like last year in the fall? So I saw you guys there. And then I saw you in February when you did that Bottom of the Hill, that barbecue show. And it was
Yeah.
just like, the difference was huge to me. I was like, holy crap. You guys were amazing, really good. And I had no idea. I was kind of giving you guys some crap saying, you need to self-promote more. I didn't even know the album was out on Bandcamp. And when I went through, I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's
every
us.
song is really good. And it's a really good album. So you should be really proud. And yeah, you should be proud of that.
Hey, March, that being said, you guys were talking, and didn't I just see you guys on it last year? So good for you guys. I hope you guys kill it when the Corona's over.
Yeah, we have no opportunity, just like the rest of us right now. We're killing it from the Zoom.
That Bottom of the Hill was right before this whole thing broke, so we almost got
Yeah. Yeah, that was
you know.
that Friday before we played the Bottom of the Hill was when they announced the first lockdown, and the bars really weren't supposed to be open, but they honored the show and played it anyway. A lot of shit was closing down then on that Sunday.
Vendors with the accused. I talked to the accused into coming down and playing in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And they fucking, that was the next fucking week. I was just like, oh well. There goes
Great. Yeah.
Oh, believe me.
Yeah, that's right. It was right on the cusp when everything was getting shut down. So going out there, but yeah, I'm glad. So hopefully you have. I thought I videoed your show, but I have a bunch of pictures. So hopefully someone videoed.
Over YouTube too. We got the whole show on YouTube. If
do you? Okay.
anybody gives a hell, yeah.
No, like I said, no, really good. And give me the link, and I can share it out. I think you guys are really good. Awesome. So during this time, have you guys just been practicing on your own, or have you been doing any Zoom jams or anything like that?
We have ideas, and Nick and John have some stuff that they're supposedly getting out to us in the next day or so, John. And we're gonna surprise people. Yeah, we're gonna have something cool coming up in the next couple weeks. Have a little, whatever release, a Facebook release.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, for what it's worth.
Okay, so I guess we'll move along. So to Ted.
Oh, nice.
What up, Ted?
How you guys doing?
Killer.
Dude, everything I've heard so far fucking rules, man. Fucking, I'm totally stoked, man. Loving everything.
Dude,
sick.
thank you.
Right on, man.
Good. I mean, this is like kind of a dream lineup. I was kind of in a way like curating a show. Not that we could have a show, but this is as close as I could get. So thank you for participating. I really appreciate it. So actually, Ted, why don't I share an Effits, one of those videos that you sent me, and then we'll talk about the band after. All right.
Awesome.
Killed it guys, Effits killed it onto the July 4th feed. I thought.
Oh, you watched it?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, thanks, man. That rules. It took a lot of time to do that stuff.
I want to come down to the studio and hang out. I'll wear my mask.
Congratulations.
I won't wear pants, but I'll wear a mask.
All right.
Hello.
Whoop, sorry. I was thinking it earlier.
Oh, good.
That was.
Yeah.
Hell yes. Dude, all of these examples have just been so fucking badass, man. Like,
Totally.
my kid over here is like, Dad, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I know
I
this
love
is killer
that.
stuff, curated for your pleasure and mine. I mean, so I think what Max was talking about, there was over on 4th of July, I believe. I checked in to hear a few bands, including the Boneless Ones, who headlined the virtual, like a punk fest on 4th of July, and also the Effits were featured. It was weird because I was out and about, and then I got back to the house. I'm like, oh, I think I missed it. Right when I hit play, the Effits were just starting, and then
Oh,
it was
nice.
awesome. Yeah, you guys
Yeah,
were
rules.
great, and the Boneless Ones, just awesome. So, Ted, why don't you tell us about? I think you're the only one. Paul didn't show up, right? And I think
Yeah,
John.
Paul's lame.
Yeah, he's faking on me. I keep texting him too.
It's not the first time it's happened. Put it that way, right?
Exactly.
I'm like the lone representative to
That's okay.
shamelessly promote our band. But either way, man, it's unfortunate because we just got the ball rolling. Everything was like ready to go. We just did our first recording, and then we're coming out and we're gonna, getting ready to like start playing shows. And then this happened, right? And now all of a sudden we got to become like 21st century, musicians with doing Zoom calls and online shows, and damn, now it's a whole nother ball game,
Totally.
right? So,
Totally.
plus I work in I've worked in the music industry for years, right? And that's ultimately how Paul and I hooked up at the UC Theater. And you know what I mean? It was all of a sudden, there's no shows, and what are we supposed to do? And it's kind of fucked up, but we're gonna roll with the punches and keep going on. And but I'm out of a job because of this music industry shit too. And Paul, like we're both stagehands, right? So it's like a double loss. Like not only
Right, I was going to ask you, aren't you guys a part of that union, right? That does. Oh wait, I need to mute someone. Someone's making noise. Whoever.
feeding back.
That's you. I was like, I can't mute you.
I hope not. No, but anyways,
Phone on vibrate.
I've worked at the
That's Mike
Warfield now. Oh yeah. I've worked at the Warfield for like the last 20 years, right? Like off and on, and Paul's part of the union too. So
Right.
our whole livelihood is like staked, at stake in this rock and roll stuff, and it's just dead now. And
Right.
that's not me.
I texted Paul again, trying to get him on here. I said, Ted's ripping for you. Come on.
So Ted, what I don't think I know you from before. So what bands did you play in before? How did you guys get together?
Yeah. It's one of those things, man, where I played in a bunch of bands in San Francisco. The last one, the one I fronted, was called the Temperamentals, and we did about a year and a half playing Benders and Parkside and all that stuff, right? And I played in some other bands in San Francisco throughout the years. You know how it goes. But I kind of quit playing after a while. I just got sick of it for a while, and then had some kids and things like that. And but I've known Paul forever, right? And ultimately we ended up working together. And I'm like, dude, come on down. We got to jam. And so the two of us started jamming. Eventually started like getting a guitar player in there. And how this all came together was kind of interesting, right? We were playing with this hippie guy, right? He's a good guitar player, and he was into like rock and roll, which ruled, right? But it was one of those things where it's like I said to Paul, I'm like, Paul, man, I don't want to teach this guy like who DRI is. And then Paul's like, hey, I know a guitar player from DRI. I'm like, well, why don't you get him fucking in here, right? And, sure enough, here we are, the three of us. We kind of gelled, man, and I'm digging it, man. We're having a lot of fun, and we're just getting started, right? Like, we haven't even, like, reached any, like, what the potential of this band could actually do. We've just touched the surface. So, I'm really excited about where it's going to go. And what we're gonna do, but I love our band. Our band fucking rules.
No, the timing was bad, but yeah, John Lenore is amazing guitar player, And Paul is a great drummer, and I knew that it must be something special because I know he was busy with, being in the union, and he was stoked to get into the union. I know, and for him to kind of like to do this project, I was like, it must be something good because I don't think he would, he was already pretty busy. I didn't think he would do something that he didn't believe in or would be worth his time. So it's really good.
100 absolutely percent. I mean, I'm like the most spoiled guy in the world, man. I get to play with the guy from DRI and the guy from Skin Lab. Like, all right, let's roll. Let's see what we can do, man. But they're amazing guys, and we get along great. And I'm like really stoked and privileged, and to play with these guys. And I can't wait to start playing shows. But at the same time, use this time to be productive, write some new albums, and write some more songs. And really excited about where it's going to be. I mean, we're gonna play shows again. God damn it! Like that's just all there is to it, right?
Right. When did you record? When did you record that set that you guys streamed for the Punk Online Fest?
We just got a new rehearsal space over in whatever. It's off San Leandro Boulevard in Oakland. It's like the same place I think like Death Angel and all those guys play. And so we got our own room, which again spoiled rotten, so whatever. Again, adapting to the 21st century. How long are we going to be doing Zoom shows? And like,
is that the old Paradigm?
Is that Paradigm?
The Paradigm place?
What place? The place with the gate where you go down the alley and then they got the gate at the back. And,
Rehearse America. It's probably Rehearse America.
Yeah.
I rehearsed there a long time ago.
Yeah, it's dope. It's a good place, and the rooms are cheap, right?
Yeah.
Compared to like the old Soundwave or OA, whatever, right? Like they're a little pricier.
I think
you get in San Francisco.
DRI used to be there, I think.
Oh yeah. I mean,
yeah, they did. Chumley used to be the fucking. Chumley was there.
Chumley was like the landlord or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Man.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, I miss Chumley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chumley and I went to high school together. We were in jazz band in Castro Valley High together.
Wow.
Great, I know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Actually, last time I saw him was at Rehearse America with you, Nick, and he had just gotten off tour with DRI. And we went there looking at studios, and he was running the place.
Yeah.
And we went there to go look, and when we first were starting, like Primate or something like that.
Yeah.
25 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
We did ours at Soundwave. He took care of us totally. We just did it all day lockout because the guys came in. But now it was Soundwave, man.
Yeah.
It's nice to be able to walk in and talk to people and all that kind of stuff.
What happened to Soundwave? Did something, or George Anderson got fired, or did something happen there?
No, that was Oakland Music Complex.
Music complex.
Same thing.
Well, yeah, Al doesn't think that. Al Casey has Soundwave. But yeah, George got let go there.
Yeah.
And everybody was shocked.
Question for Ted. I noticed on on that website, there's only 2 songs, but then you had some other songs. So are you planning on putting them like all in that same site, that
SoundCloud?
SoundCloud, yeah. You have the ad hominem. I love that song. I love that. Yeah.
Oh, hey,
awesome.
thanks. That rules.
Yeah.
I love that
Killer.
song too. I kind of promote it. It was our first recording. We went in and we did a good job. We liked it. But it wasn't like something you could sell per se, right? Like it wasn't like on top of it. And I think we're gonna end up at some point re-recording that album and then putting it out, selling it, making things happen. So we're throwing things out on Facebook right now, and getting people to respond to it, and that's really cool. And hopefully again, it's like using this time productively, like being able to like do these things. So when this whatever ends and we start having shows again, we're running full speed. That's really the idea behind it.
Yeah.
And who knows? We ended up recording a double album. I mean, why not, right?
Sure.
A punk rock double album.
No.
Let's see.
That'd be badass.
Yeah.
I love that.
Brampton comes alive, right?
Fuck yeah. Effits come alive.
All with three chords in under 3 minutes.
We'll have the album. You can open up and Paul will be spread out, right, with the fur pillow and the cheetah cub, right?
We would all pay money.
Wow.
Oh,
My
you
goodness.
guys have
Well, thank
no
you,
idea
Ted.
no problem. It's all good.
Oh, I know. We have ideas of Paul. I know all about Paul.
Oh man, I'm sure.
So
That fucker, he should be on here.
Yeah.
he should. I think he was scared. That's why he like.
I think
bailed.
so. Yep.
So anyway, well, moving along, I want to be respectful of Kragen's time. So
Hell
Kragen,
yeah.
welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yes,
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
What up, brother?
Kragen. So Kragen.
Nick, I'm jealous of your crumb sucker shirt.
That
Nick
is
always
fucking
has good
cool.
shirts.
I used to play in a band with 2 of the Crumbsuckers.
That's rad.
So
I love
Propane.
the first album.
I was kind of late to the Crumbsucker thing, man. You know, because I was really into Guitar Shredder stuff, and you know, didn't really get the New York East Coast thing. And then when I finally got to the Crumbsucker, I didn't realize how good those guitar players were, man. Just sort of like Dream Theater meets, some kind of like some kind of punk hardcore thing. I didn't really get it till I heard it. It was awesome.
Yeah, they started to sort of show what they could do on Beast on My Back.
Yeah.
Yes. Killer album.
awesome. So Kragen Lum is the guitarist for Heathen, and I've invited him to come tell us what's going on with Heathen. They have a new album coming out in September. Empire of the Blind. So it's been about 10 years, over 10 years. So it was around that time we were expecting a new album.
Yeah.
New as the latest single. It hasn't been released yet. So I think the date that I read was September 18th.
Yep.
And you've published, you released one single, The Blight, which is really cool. And I wanted to share that with everyone before we get into it. So let me do that. Hang on.
Let her rip.
It's so good. I'm so excited. Hang on. Let me see if I can. Wait.
Kragen, where did you guys record?
I recorded all the guitar tracks except for lead solos here at my house.
Okay, cool.
And I have a studio here, and then we recorded the drums, bass, vocals, all on the East Coast. Zeus.
Zeus.
But
Okay.
yeah, I wanted to get the easily distracted guys in my band away. So,
Nice.
we basically like lived at the studio and recorded all the
Awesome.
stuff. So it came out great. It was good, like environment, and Zeus was awesome. Like he did a great job with
Fuck yeah, dude.
So
That's amazing.
Awesome. Okay, hang on.
I wish Dave was on here. What's Dave? What's he doing?
you know what?
That Berkeley motherfucker.
If we do another one of these in the future, I'll get him on here.
Yeah.
I'm his manager.
You're his manager?
Yeah.
Nice.
Here.
That's great. Some fucking
Excellent.
serious shredding, Kragen.
Yeah, man,
Thanks.
that harmony solo, that second harmony solo is
Sick. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if Lee's gonna learn it or not. I have to play it by myself.
Hit the harmonizer. Get the Eventide going.
Yeah.
We call him Leisure.
Leisure.
Yeah, that's what the Exodus guys call him.
That's great. Yeah, Lee is he's a busy man, huh? Fuck.
He's bored out of his mind right now.
Oh, real? Well, we all are. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
he's great. He's a wonderful human being.
Right?
So is Dave. They're both awesome people.
Yep. Definitely.
So Kragen, I think, well, all of the Bay Area folks know who Heathen are, and I'm sure Chris, he's a big metal guy that's been in radio for a long time during the Heathen time, right? So I'm sure you're quite familiar. But why don't you catch us up on what Heathen's been up to? You've been in Heathen since, what was it, 2007? Was that Kragen?
Yeah.
Just tell us your journey with Heathen and where you guys are at now. And
Yeah, I actually, the way I got the audition for the band was I was living in LA since I was a teenager, and I went up in 2001. I went up and saw the Thrash of the Titans benefit, and my band at the time was looking to
Fuck yeah.
a singer. What's that?
I said, fuck yeah, it was a great show. Thrash of the Titans. Yeah.
My band at the time was looking for a singer, and I asked a guy that I knew that worked for Century Media if he had any recommendations. So he
Borvoy?
suggested, no, it wasn't Borvoy. It was so he recommended that we call Dave. So Dave actually came down to audition for my band in LA, and it didn't end up working out, but we stayed in touch, and then when Heathen was looking for a guitar player, he asked me and the other guitar player in my band if either one of us wanted to come up and audition, and the other guy declined, and I said yes. And I think I learned like 5 songs, and I don't remember where we did that rehearsal, what rehearsal studio it was, because I don't think we ever practiced there again. But I played like 5 songs with the guys, and they looked at each other and they asked me to join the band. So I was always a huge Bay Area fan. Like I was basically playing the right kind of music, but living in the wrong place. So for me to be able to, to play with bands that I grew up, Heathen and Exodus were like heroes to me. So, being able to play with both of them, it was a dream come true. So yeah, that's how I got in the band. And then since then, we did a record in 2010 called The Evolution of Chaos. We recorded that at Juan's studio, and we did a bunch of touring for that album. And then I got sucked into the Exodus vortex, filling in for Gary, and I did that for about 6 years. And then we really just didn't have time to focus on writing new stuff. Lee likes to say that fine wine takes time. I think it's maybe because he's a little leisurely about it. But I'm glad that we took so long, because some of these songs were written like 2012, 2014, but they had time to we had time to tweak them and fine tune them to get them really where we wanted to for the new record. So
yeah, no, it's the first track sounds really good. Are you planning on releasing any more before the actual album?
Yeah, we've got the title track for the album will be released in August, in about 4 weeks, and then we'll have a little gap, and then the third single will come out with the album in September.
Okay. So is the album complete now? Or
oh yeah, the album's been the album's been done since, actually we finished it in January, but we had to wait because of the virus Amazon is the biggest music retailer in the United States in terms of physical products. And at the time they basically cut off taking new music product in because they were prioritized that they thought people needed for COVID-19. So like toilet paper. I think like Testament's album was already in their warehouses, so they were able to release theirs. But we had to wait. Hatebreed had to wait. There were a bunch of bands where we all finished our albums and they were ready to go, but we just had to kind of sit on them. So I think Hatebreed is still sitting on their album. I don't know when they're going to release it, but they finished it right around the same time that we did, and they worked with Zeus too. So, yeah. So
Okay.
I'll try to find that for you. I'll try to get that info for you. I'm kind of joking. I'm gonna message Florida Frank.
Hey,
So
Craig,
Kragen-
what band were you in LA that you were talking about?
Well, the first band I was in was called Psychosis. Our current bass player, Jason Mirza, was in the Bay Area up until about 1990. And then he moved down to LA and joined my band Psychosis in like 91. And then that band kind of fell apart and we changed our name to Prototype. And we released like 3 albums. Just did regional stuff. We never got as far as we wanted to. So
yeah, I'm a guitar nerd, man. You're really good. So.
I appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, I got a lot of experience just the last few years, and learning how to be from Exodus. I mean, those, regardless of their crazy past, I mean, those guys are like a family unit now, and they all like really love each other and love spending time and touring and stuff, and they want to be a band, So, I mean, that's kind of inspirational. I see so many other bands that like don't like each other. They just do it for the money kind of a thing, So it's cool to see the old band ways, so to speak.
Mm. So Kragen, you mentioned that you're in the band, you're one of the guitar players, but you're managing the band as well. Is that what I heard?
Yeah. So I manage Heathen. I'm on the Exodus management team, so I do like production stuff for them, do the tour managing and stuff like that. But I work for them. Started working for Defiance, helping them out. I go back and help these bands. Like, I mean, believe it or not, a lot of these guys still don't have their royalty payments from like their old deals, like Roadrunner Records and stuff. So I go back through and I kind of do the paperwork and get them their royalty statements so that they see that they still haven't recouped. But it's like what I call legacy stuff for them. I mean, everybody's getting to an age where they're kind of like, well, how much longer are we going to play thrash metal, And they want to at least know, did we make money on this record, or where are we? And they want to be able to get the statements, and it's kind of sad that it's like 30 years and still don't get the royalties or paperwork for it, So
may I ask
boring stuff.
May I ask a general musician real quick?
Sure.
You mentioned Roadrunner, right?
Yeah.
It's like Roadrunner. Metal Blade. Sorry, I'm hella stoned. Metal Blade. Some of the other old school Cesspool Records and whatever, right? Record labels, they tend to not respect the artists. I mean, Roadrunner, are they good to their artists, or are they just as bullshit cliche as all the big wigs? I mean, like do they
all those? Yeah, I can easily answer that. Okay, so all those old labels like Combat, Roadrunner, they were all bought big by the big labels. So like Sony owns Combat.
Subsidiaries now. Oh,
yeah. Warner Brothers owns Roadrunner. So
really?
Yeah. But even like going back and looking at the old like combat deals that like, Heathen or Exodus signed, the language in those agreements is really shitty for the artists. It basically like says that the records that they made were a work for hire and they can never own them.
Oh, no.
So it's the music business is designed for the artistic type people to not be able to figure out how to get their money, basically. I mean, just as an example, there's like a royalty from the record deal that you should be able to get. There are government mandated mechanical royalties that you're supposed to get like 9 cents per song per copy sold. There's publishing. There's streaming publishing now. There's another streaming company. And so it's like you have to basically do all this legwork just to collect little pennies, you know what I mean? But at the same time, if you do it right and the band does well, they should be able to get royalties from, especially like a band like Exodus. They've been around for 35 years as recording artists. They should be able to get royalties from all of their deals and, hopefully be able to spread it around to all the different guys that were in the band and, are in the band now. And so it's just, unfortunately, the business is super complicated, and I think it was designed that way, your mic's muted, Mike.
No, he's cussing us out silently as a meme.
How does that happen? Crazy. I've been talking this whole time. Fuck. No, but what you're saying, that's funny because from being a Skin Lab fucking 20 years ago, we're through that Century Media, Roadrunner Hold, they all have sold their shit so many times. And every couple of years, I'll get some new email saying, here's your new publishing company. Here's your new statement. Every 6 months, we get a statement. And I mean, I have one signed record where I can, well, actually, that I was on, and then another with like some live record shit. But they start giving me statements like every 6 months, and they say like, when you get enough to where it's worth it to send you a check, we'll send you a check.
Yeah, now
we accumulate $20, we'll send you a check.
That's right. Now they have.
Is that the base?
They have a payment threshold for a lot of these
my
things
God.
where they won't even send you the money until you get to a certain dollar
You
amount.
reach a point, exactly. Yeah.
But so you're dealing with Sony, okay? Because Sony owns Century Media now. But
Yeah.
they do things that you wouldn't even know about. Like, for example, whatever songs you wrote, let's say, Century Media will do a side deal for your print rights. Okay, so if anybody ever wants to do a guitar book, I know this because I did a Nevermore guitar book, where I transcribed all the songs and then released it, and I had to like find out who owned the print rights, which was Hal Leonard. It's a big music, they make all the guitar books and music books for other instruments, and it's like you wouldn't even have known that your print rights have been sold off by this publishing company that you signed your rights away to probably when you did the deal with Media, because that's how they did their deal. They had that, what is it called, 800-pound gorilla or whatever their publishing company was.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Like 20 years ago.
So I try and help these bands sort through that stuff. Try and help them collect whatever pennies are owed to them.
Right.
So that's what I was gonna put emphasis on. I don't want to say that you guys are the old cats over the hill.
That's true.
But hey man, hey dude, hey man, get off my lawn. It's just
exactly. It's true though. I mean, I ain't expecting anything. It's trivial to me. I ain't tripping.
No,
I used to
but-
check.
No, but
So-
I mean, at the same time, for me, it's like you gotta like show the youngins, hey guys, I know you may or may not parenting children, right? You may or may not listen to me, but here's some bullshit I went through. If you keep your wit through the bullshit, or you might avoid the bullshit that I went through. You know what I mean? Like, and that's great that you said you're coaching them.
I manage a younger band, and I've been trying to explain all of this stuff to them so that they don't get screwed. I mean, they got an offer for a deal from Metal Blade, and I looked at it and I was like, you got to be kidding me. This is like one of the worst deals that you could possibly I mean, it was like so bad I couldn't believe that Metal Blade would offer it. It was so bad. But I mean, that
So it still happens, yeah.
They've been doing that for years, and it works because a lot of musicians are they're so anxious to get their music out there, and they get impatient, and they think they're never going to get anything else, and they just take whatever they can get, and sometimes it's just the worst thing for their career.
Hey, you know what? Thank you. Thank you and anyone else that does that, because the awareness needs to, these kids are built talent just due to the freaking legalese out there.
Well, I mean, I even got a call from, Mark Hernandez recently, and he was like, hey, can you help me with this stuff? Because I have no idea what I'm doing, and I said, yeah, I mean, I want to not only help them collect it, I want them to understand how to do it,
Mark Hernandez from Dress the Dead?
What's that?
Mark Hernandez from Dress the Dead?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying. He's been in a bunch of bands, Forbidden, Defiance.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Torque. So he's got all these performance and songwriting credits, and hasn't ever. I mean, I don't even know if those guys have ever registered their song for the BMI or ASCAP or any of that stuff. And it's like, I mean, there's money sitting out there waiting for you to collect it. It might not be much, but anytime you have your songs on YouTube and they're streaming or on Spotify or whatever, there's pennies out there. You might as well sign up to collect it,
Yes, for sure.
What I found out tonight is Kragen is actually the CPA of rock and roll here.
Right. Totally.
That is definitely not
if we have a friend request in like 30 seconds.
Music.
No, dude, that's actually all right. When Metallica went through that whole thing looking for the ones and zeros a long time ago, I know a lot of people held them, I think they kind of went a dickish, route about it. But in the end, I totally agree with what they're doing. If you work, you deserve to get the money. And having done radio, man, so many bands were like one and done. They pump out an album. They might be down for 2 or 3. The label would be like, hey, if you don't produce these things, you get nothing. And that's the way it went. And that's the way the system went back then. But yeah, you guys are playing the long game. It's good to see somebody who's trying to win at it. So
I remember when that whole thing was happening with Lars and Napster, and I was working at a video game company at the time, and all of the people that worked around me, they were all like, fuck that guy, I can't because they were all using Napster, and I'm sitting there arguing with them. I'm like, you guys are wrong. He's right. If you make something and create it and spend money to make it, and people are stealing it, I mean,
I agree.
That's
Actually,
Kragen, what is the deal?
Well, a little backstory. So, I was Systematic. I was in band Systematic that was signed by Lars in like 1999. So in 2001, when we were touring, because we were associated with Lars, the whole Napster thing, people were always coming up to us saying, "Oh, what's with your boss? They're money, they're greedy."
Your boss.
Like literally, like arguing to people, going, "No, he's right. Down the road, you guys are realize he was right." But I couldn't see how people were looking at the long game, looking down the road, and seeing how it was going to affect the whole model and how it's completely changed now. And I saw it back then. It was hard to tell people back then, So I really saw firsthand how it affected everything.
Well, we didn't know it was coming to this, to the computer generation. We didn't realize it was that huge, and they had a grip back then,
Yeah.
That's
well,
right.
the music industry screwed itself by one major thing, that all the software companies were putting copy protection on the discs that they sold that had software on them. And the music industry had the opportunity to put copy protection on audio CDs, and they didn't want to do it because of the money. And so right away, that was the one thing that triggered all of the illegal, rip the songs off the CD and put them up on the, LimeWire or whatever it is. And
Oh, right.
Oh man, I'm out. I'm out. But Mike's ching, ching. I gotta get some.
Throwing up gang signs and shit.
Not a gang sign. I was wagging my finger. I was gonna say I actually knew a dude who defeated the security on those CDs when they did. Sony tried to put some of the DRMs on their discs, and it was like, just took a Sharpie and just blocked it, and it was like, oh my, that was it. It's like, you fucking
That's
idiots,
great.
So it's like, I come from a security background, so it's like, I'm like, really? That's fucking it? They had to. Oh, let me get some whiteout. Yeah, that doesn't exist.
That's funny.
So actually, Kragen, I had a call with Kragen last night to kind of prep for this call, and he was kind of telling me about this stuff, and I wanted to know where he got his business acumen from, because he's not the usual. When I talked to him last night, I was like, oh, you're totally completely not what I expected, because of course in all the guitar pictures he's like, and then this guy is brilliant. He's so smart. He has so much business acumen. So I had to ask, it's like, where did you get this from? So can you share this story? Can you share your story, what you did before?
Yeah, sure. After I finished like college and stuff, I was just trying to be a musician. I was teaching like lessons and playing music and stuff. And I got this rare blood disorder and had to go into the hospital. And I had a young son at the time, and I knew I needed to have benefits because I didn't have any benefits. So I basically lucked into the video game industry right when it was taking off in the late 90s. I started working for Activision. I was a game tester. And then I kind of worked my way up the ladder, and I was a video game producer for a long time. And so that's kind of where I learned a lot about like contracts and negotiations and stuff like that. I had to manage these big projects where it was like, Activision, we were making Guitar Hero, and it was like multi-million-dollar video game. And so it was a lot of responsibility, and I had to learn all of that kind of business stuff really quickly. So I got my education by doing it. I didn't have any. I went to college, but I have an art degree. I have like a music degree. So that didn't help me in business. So I was kind of fortunate. I got into the video game industry like right at the right time, and then when I got laid off, I basically decided to go back and do what I really wanted to do all along, which was music. And then I, kind of got lucky and hooked up with Exodus, and they kept me busy for a long time. So
Hey,
I don't know what I
Craig,
just did.
kind of a bad segue. So if you're somebody involved with Guitar Hero and as a guitar, how do you feel about the impact of Guitar Hero on guitar players? And people really want to play a real guitar. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so this is good. So I had the opportunity to work on Guitar Hero 3, which was the big one. That's the one that sold more than anything. It's the one that had Slash on the cover. Right. And I turned it down because I was like, this is gonna be gone in no time. And I had the choice between that and working on a 007 game. And so I was like, I'm going to do the 007 game. It's tied in with the movies, which was Quantum of Solace and whatever the one before that was, Casino Royale. And I was like, I'm going to make this choice. So, of course, that was a horrible choice. I did get a song. In that game. We had a prototype song in the Guitar Hero game. But as a guitar player, I hated it. It's a rhythm game. Right. And drummers are awesome at it. Awesome, because it's all buttons and hitting them at the right time, right? But as a guitar player, I'm sitting there like, what is this? Like this isn't even the right way to do this. So I was terrible at it, and I didn't like it, and so that's one of the reasons why I didn't really want to work on it. And then when they offered it to me again, I was like, okay, cool. And I worked on two of them, the last two, and before they canceled the franchise. But yeah, I think it was cool. I think it was cool that kids played it and then decided that they wanted to play guitar.
Right.
If that was a benefit from it, I think that's great.
See, my guitar hero when I was a kid was with a tennis racket playing, to Def Leppard when I was a kid.
Me too. It was to AC/DC.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Now,
Didn't have buttons and a video game to watch.
Yeah.
Again, Matt,
no, so I got the video. A buddy of mine left Activision to go to work on Rocksmith because he felt this as a guitarist and he was like, this is bull crap, whatever. He ended up taking one of the Guitar Hero 5, I think it was, and then he ended up getting poached by the Rocksmith guys where you actually.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that one?
Are you guys? It's okay. I mean, it's okay.
Like my 10-year-old daughter, she loves it.
Anything that inspires people to play music is okay with me. I mean, really, it's at the end of the day, it's a game and it's for fun. But if it like makes them want to go pick up a guitar,
inspires you. Yeah, like Kerbal Space Program. Like, oh shit, I'm really into engineering. I want to build a spaceship. Cool, whatever.
Funny story about the Rock Band thing. Nick will remember this. We were at a mutual friend's house, and Eric Kretz, the drummer for Stone Temple Pilots, we were partying, and we had the whole Rock Band drum set up and guitars and all this shit at our friend's house, and Eric Kretz himself gets up there to play Stone Temple Pilots song to Rock Band. It's like fucking like 50% or something. Yeah. And our buddy's son gets like 10 years old and gets like 96%. And fucking Eric's like, fuck this game, man. Fuck this.
I hate playing with my kid, dude. It's
he's like, I wrote the song. I know what I'm doing. It's like, you're not doing it right, dude. Move over.
No, I think Max had a question or a comment.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I did. I'm not sure. Hey, Frank says that he doesn't know. He said, what did he say about the Hatebreed? He said, hold on. He said, good question. Who knows? LOL.
That's Frank's role in the band is to show up and play, and he's great at it.
I'm not going to steal the platform, but Frank, we played a show. We only played for the 3 or 4 shows. Frank flew out to Sacramento from Florida to come see us in Sacramento. It was incredible. I had never met the guy, so he's been a fan of ours. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
He had to tell me who Hatebreed was. So, yeah.
Well, Kragen,
Kragen was playing with Boneless Ones? What? Is that what I'm hearing?
Florida Frank has been a fan of the Boneless Ones since the 80s, since he was a little kid growing up.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Me and him have been communicating for a number of years. And he flew out in December to our show with Fang in Sacramento at the Blue Lamp. And Frank shows up. And he saw us on Saturday and went saw Blue Oyster Cult on the Sunday and flew home.
That's badass. That's
Frank
badass.
was us in the hotel room. We're like peas in the fucking pod. It was just stupid, but it was fun. I mean, it was just they were singing just at the top of their lungs. Funny. But yeah, so Hatebreed, hardcore.
Yeah.
So Kragen,
anyway, it was funny. Thank you.
Thanks, Max. So Kragen, before all this COVID stuff, were you talking to certain bands that you were maybe planning on going out on tour with, or?
Oh yeah, we had a whole. Was there
any discussion yet?
We had like 2 full European tours and another partial one in South America. We had all this stuff booked. We were going to take a Potential Threat out with us the first tour, and then for the second one, I was actually trying to get the Defiance guys to get it together go out with us over there for a little bit. So yeah, we had a lot of stuff booked. So we were lucky though, because we hadn't fronted any money for the tour yet.
Still on it.
And we were able to kind of cancel stuff before we had to pay for it.
But
A lot of bands were not that lucky. They basically had to pay up front for like the tour bus and all the stuff, and they lost their asses. So we're lucky that we didn't. You know, it's a bummer that we can't go out, but you know, we just
Right.
just going to promote the album as much as we can, and then try and reschedule things for next year and hope that it happens.
Okay. What so this will be your 4th album. So what would the set list look like? Or would it include some stuff from like the older stuff? Like, oh wait, look at what I found, like in my tapes.
Look at that.
Say the
I'm
advanced
jealous.
cassettes
I don't have
from
one
a
of
long
those.
time ago.
Yeah, we definitely would have old stuff in the set list. I mean, we can't go out and not play Death by Hanging or, you know, Goblins Blade or any of the
Hold that up again, March. Let me see that.
Oh, it's advanced cassette from the.
It's getting locked out.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a demo.
It's an
There you go.
advance of Victims of Deception.
Okay.
There you go. Oh, you see it now.
A little while ago, I was in the garage trying to find the very first Heathen demo. I couldn't find it, but I have it on cassette, like from like 84, 83 or something.
Yeah.
Some old school shit from. Yeah.
I took all of those demos and I actually mastered them and made a demo collection for the band. Even
Nice.
the Bailoff demo, where Bailoff sang. So
Wow,
I
I heard that.
Yeah. I wasn't happy about that part.
Yeah, right. That's great.
So, Kragen, you said you were managing Exodus too. I mean, are you at liberty to discuss what's going on with those guys?
Yeah, I mean, Gary's posted a bunch of stuff on Instagram. He got together with Tom last week, and they started working on some songs. And they're basically, their plan is to continue working up until sort of like the end of August, and then they want to start recording and get the new album done this year, so it can come out it'll probably come out like, you know, spring or summer or whatever next year, depending on the climate. You know, when I say climate, I don't mean the weather, just the climate for releasing music and timing for any tours that they may or may not have. So yeah. And Gary even told me the title of the album, which I'm not going to say, but
Okay.
he'll probably change his mind anyway. But yeah,
What was it
Awesome.
they're gung ho about it, and they're real excited and to get in there. I mean, you know, Gary, I think, I don't want to speak for him, but I think he enjoyed all the playing with Slayer and everything, but he's really happy to be back doing his own thing again. You know, and I think he missed it while he was gone. And the fans missed him, you know. I mean, I didn't have any hecklers or anything, but
that was my next question. Like, how?
You know, they wanted their guy, you know, which you know, as a fan, I totally get it, you know. So.
Right. Yeah, actually, that was my next question, because Gary Holt's probably one of the most beloved guitarists out there right now. How was your experience? I mean, you're awesome too, but I mean, any bad experiences, or just overall, how was that experience? Just
I mean, overall, it was really cool. I mean, the fans, I would say the vast majority of the fans understood in a way that, like, this was a great opportunity for him to be a part of another legendary kind of thrash band, and they may you know, they may not have always enjoyed the fact that he was gone, but I think they understood it. We did, I think in the very beginning, in one of the US tours, we had a couple of hecklers at one of the shows, and Lee stopped and got on the microphone and basically told him, "This is our guy. If you don't like it, just get the fuck out of here," you know. And after that, I don't think we had any more. You know, I just tried to do my homework and really prepare for the shows. I sort of studied some little stylistic things that Gary does in his playing and tried to replicate them the best that I could. My goal with the whole thing was if people close their eyes, I want it to still sound like Exodus. So, you know, I just did as many things as I could. I don't play like Gary, like especially like leads. I had to really, I really had to like do a lot of homework to kind of play more like him for the Exodus stuff. And even on some of it, I just had to just do my own thing, you know, my own take on what he played, because
That was actually a question I was going to have for that, because, you know, it's funny because sort of frantic soloing like that, where it's not necessarily in key, sort of, you know, it's like, you know, like Phil Demmel trying to cover Jeff Hanneman stuff. It's like, how do you cover stuff like that and stay true to it? You can never do it ever. And how people are going to, because they hear Kerry King and Gary and Rick. It's gotta be hard. Especially, you know, you strike me as more of like a school, maybe. You know,
I am, yeah. I'm a trained, like, you know, went to school, and so for me, like, I don't know how to play out of key. I just don't know how to do it. So,
yes, I love that. I don't either.
I just had to do whatever I could to like mimic some of the things that he did, and I mean, ultimately, it was more about like trying to find the phrasing for the things that he did than it was trying to play whatever notes he played. You know, ultimately, I think that's, as weird as it is, like, as long as you get the phrasing right, if the notes are a little bit different, a lot of the bands won't even notice. They don't even notice. I had people coming up to me and saying, "Oh, you nailed the solo," and I'm like, I don't even play it anywhere close to it, you know. But it's just about that. It's kind of just the intent, you know, you put behind it, and the phrasing, and the little the sound, even, you know, like Gary doesn't have a separate lead tone like I do. You know, I like to have some of the high end rolled off and have it sound a little smoother or whatever, and he doesn't do that. So I just had to, you know, go with how he did it, you know.
I'm dying to someday hear. I want to hear Kerry King play the blues. I the blues. What that sounds like.
I'm sorry to tell you, but I think very disappointing.
Yeah, right. I know.
He's watching right now. Shh. I told him. You know, what's funny talking about that too is back in the day, like when I was in Skin Lab, we toured with Exodus for like a year, shared a bus with Gary, fucking all over 6 months in Europe.
I played the Whiskey Show with you.
Yes, at the beginning of that thing. Yes, down there. Oh, that was a show.
My band Prototype played right before you guys that night.
Wow, that's wild, dude.
Awesome.
That was with Baylock when he had just come back.
Yeah, exactly. Lesson of Violence #2. But my gear didn't show up right away on the first few nights, so I had to play Gary's gear share. He said, "You can use my shit." And I don't know. If you've ever tried to play his gear, it is he's an artist on his own shit. Like, nobody else can play his stuff. It's so loud and noisy and uncontrolled. And it's perfect for him. Like, he gets on there and makes it just sing. But, man, it was so funny. I'd be like, what the fuck is going on? So much hiss and crazy noise and so touchy. And here I'm used to, like, just the amp with the Les Paul. You know, like, in Skin Lab, we were not very technical, you know, on the tones and stuff. And he's a riff master, you know. It was great. It was like, I took pride in playing it for a couple nights, making it work. But I'm like, I gotta get some gear. We gotta rent some gear.
It was funny, but back in '93, when I was still in Propane, we did tours. It was DRI, Body Count, Exodus, and Propane. And it's funny because at the time, I don't know what it was, man. Rick and Gary were listening to like techno stuff. And we would go to the dressing room, Exodus would have the room.
Yes.
And Rick was wearing all like the baggy stuff. And we went to and Hunnell will be in there, dude, like pop dancing to like
Rick is a badass dancer.
Like all the stuff. And we go up there and rip these crazy Exodus solos, man. It was so funny, like seeing this whole other like it's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
When I joined Heathen, we were rehearsing. Dave had a band and had a studio at Dan's warehouse.
Yes.
And Rick was like living there in one of the rooms. And sometimes we'd finish a rehearsal and Dan would have like a rave in the back room. and
Yep.
he'd come running in there to go to the rave.
Yeah, for sure.
And he loves that stuff. I mean, I got to tour with Rick one time when he filled in for Gary, and Heathen was the support on the tour. And he's so great. He's such a
He's one of my favorite people in the world.
There's so many stories from that warehouse, from Dan's warehouse, man.
Yes.
There's Bailoff living there. You know, just all the bands that rehearsed there. Rick living in that place was crazy, man.
Yeah. And then I guess they moved the whole warehouse. Like they tore it all apart and then rebuilt it somewhere else.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I heard. I mean, we had moved over to Soundwave by then, but
yeah.
There's a story Mike know about this bindery. It was the bindery on like East 14th, East 12th or something. That warehouse where Bailoff lived.
Yeah.
Adam Segan lived there for a while.
Yes, that's the one. East 8th and 11th Ave.
And Wes Robinson lived there at one point.
Exactly. Yes.
Wes ran it or owned it or something like that, didn't he?
No, he just lived there. Dan ran it, and Tom Dean owned it. Yeah.
Hey, can I just say, guys, that this is amazing, just hearing you guys banter back and forth.
I had a studio there for like 15 years too, and all those bands I've been in, we all practiced there.
Yeah. A lot of bands really. Mike, remember the time? Mike knows the story. One time we were Primate, we were rehearsing there, and Dan ran the place. Dan was kind of this sort of wiry dude, and we're playing, we're jamming the song, and Dan came in a jumpsuit, a flashlight taped to his head or something like that. And it's like, hey, I got to take care of some stuff, and we kind of lost track of him. And we kept playing, got a couple more songs in, and at some point, Dan came crawling out of the wall. Somehow there's a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
We lost track. Here comes Dan crawling out of the wall. We're like, whoa, we forgot you were here.
He had a fuse panel back in the wall. He had to crawl back in there, and he was gone for like a half an hour.
For like about 20 minutes or something like that, in the wall.
He had crazy stuff. He had crazy stuff hidden in the back room too. Like, like I remember once he was back there and he was like rummaging through some boxes, and I saw like a Laughing Dead shirt, and I was like, I always wanted one of those. And he's like, oh, okay, well, I'll sell you one. Like he had boxes of like old band merch back there, and
dude, he's the merch guy for all of those bands. We had Dan on every Skin Lab tour we ever went on. Dan Steel tours. Anything Steve does, Dan does.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, everything. Defiance. Dan's been there forever. That's my homie. He probably has Primate shirts. He has every Skin Lab, every Laughing Dead shirt. Laughing Dead was in that place for the whole entirety of their thing too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We should give a shout out to Eric Wong. It's Eric Wong's birthday today.
Eric Wong.
Happy birthday, Eric Wong.
Happy birthday, Eric.
He's an alumni. He's 340 years old. He's a fucking Highlander.
We brought the head too, so.
Hey Nick, I have a quick question for you, man. Were you supporting the band when The Truth Hurts came out?
That was me on the record.
But you didn't tour with them?
No, so I toured. So I joined right after Foul Taste came out, and then I played on The Truth Hurts.
Yeah, because I was saying if you were toured with them, they played in Raleigh at the brewery. They came up to. We might have met each other if you were there.
I'll say something. So when you said Raleigh earlier, I didn't say anything because whatever, Raleigh. Raleigh was probably our number 2. It was in the top 3 markets. It was Cleveland and Raleigh and obviously New York were our top markets. And Raleigh would crush every time we played. It was by far one of our favorite places to play. So yeah, I mean, every time we played Raleigh, it was sick.
Yeah. So I used to. Yeah, I used to.
Tortoise Butcher.
Yeah, I used to run the radio station WKNC there. That's what. That's what I did.
Did we do something with you guys, or?
Yeah, guys came up to the station, hung out, did a quick interview.
Really?
Yeah,
I had hair down my waist back then, and I was 23. So.
Yeah, I was the old guy. I was like 30 years old.
Yeah.
Prior Marine running a radio station with a bunch of 18 and 19-year-olds.
There's a lot of Marines out there, man. A lot of Marines, and that actually made it killer because they would just go off that show and just go nuts, man.
Yeah, so yeah, you guys put on a fantastic show. You guys were totally metal, but I felt so bad because you guys had no money, and I felt so bad for you, man.
Yeah, Energy Records was like sort of like it was a super, this sort of rich dude who just his kids ran the label, and we We
Yeah.
barely had time, you know. But I mean, it was part of punk rock, whatever. And we were just a tour bus story, so.
Nick,
Yeah,
what year
small
were you gonna
freaking
be
world.
in?
We're talking like 30-something years later, man. We're on a
Great.
Right? Isn't that weird? And we're here, like I know, on a WebEx.
Yeah, good times.
Hey, Chris, do you remember a band from Raleigh called Fat Tortoise Butcher?
No, I haven't heard them. Who they?
That's from the 90s. Skin Lab played with them back in Raleigh back then. There's just a good memory that they were the big thing in town when we came through there.
Yeah.
I had good memories of Raleigh from that band. There's big dudes.
I remember the venue was the venue sort of like an amphitheater. I remember it's sort of like an amphitheater type thing. There's a couple places in Raleigh. The one that stands out the most to me was sort of like an amphitheater sort of place, like a really small amphitheater.
Well, there was the Ritz. That was a so
Ritz.
Raleigh. Yeah, so Raleigh struggles, man, because it's either really big or really freaking small. So the brewery
Right.
was like 200 people packed into a double wide, man, and that place is gone. That's where you guys played.
I remember now. You're right.
Yeah, and that was a legendary place. They steamrolled it. It's gone. So
Yeah, they're probably all gone now,
God
man.
damn.
yeah.
There's
Hey,
stuff, you know, when when Dimebag got killed, Al Rosa. And
Al
here's,
Rosa.
remember, I hadn't heard Al Rosa in so long, but when it happened, I was like, man, I know where it happened. I know everything about that club from back then. There's a few that have been up for like a long time, you know.
Yes. That place is a good place, man. The people that ran it were cool people. They fed you well. They made all their Rosa Villa. They'd feed all the bands, and they're like a big family there. We played there a bunch of times too, like in that era.
Mike, this could be controversial. Do you remember that one lady there, sort of the creepy looking lady?
Yes.
Sort of the runner or whatever.
Yeah.
You would like peek on dudes like in the shower and stuff, man. That lady was crazy. Dude.
And like who? And like who wouldn't?
She was some other stories later.
Paul Hopkins knew about her. And I was talking about her. I was like, yeah, I remember looking from Al Rosa. And Paul was like, yeah, man. I think Paul knew her name and stuff.
Yes, I do. We got stories.
Is that like the movie Porky's, man? She's like looking at the
I can describe it. I can describe.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Hey, Kragen, quick question, Kragen. So when you got hired in, did you kind of commute for a while, or did you move up to the Bay Area straight away?
No, actually, I was still working for Activision at that time, so I had like a full-time job, and I would work Monday through Friday, and then fly up on Saturday, and either practice or record. And then, I mean, like when we recorded the Evolution of Chaos, I would literally fly up on Saturday. Dave would pick me up from the airport. We'd go straight to Juan's, record. I'd stay at Dave's, and then we'd record again on Sunday. I'd fly home and then go back to work on Monday. So.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
So it was kind of brutal for a little while, but, you know, I had to, it was the only way to kind of make everything work for that beginning portion.
I was at Juan's 2 hours ago.
90% of the bands.
What?
So
I was at Juan's 2 hours ago.
Kragen, are you
Getting his medical treatment.
Yes.
Are you talking about Juan Arteaga?
Yeah.
Well, Juan has recorded like 90% of the bands in the Bay Area. Seems like Juan, he's done everybody.
Yeah.
That's my homeboy.
He recorded some guest solos for the Heathen album. I asked, I called up Gary and Rick and Doug Piercy and asked them if they would all play solos on the record. And actually, they all play together on the same song.
Oh,
that's
badass. We have an instrumental on the album, and I had Gary and Rick do trade-offs, and then Lee and Doug do trade-offs, and then I play solos afterwards. So
fuck yeah,
it's kind of like a dream come true scenario for me. The only thing that I really missed was I was so busy working on the other parts of the album that I couldn't like go there. I really wanted to get everybody in the same room, but I couldn't. We just couldn't make it happen. So
yeah, that's great.
So was this fairly recently, like in the past couple of months, or the solo?
That was done probably. God, I want to. They each did them separately. So Gary was on tour with Slayer, and I had to wait until he was done.
Okay.
January. Rick had done his like maybe in December, and Doug actually just built a studio of his own at his place, and he recorded his own solos. I mean, he's engineered lots of stuff. So.
Right. Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Let me ask a technical question.
Then when did you?
What-
So I think you said you quit. You got laid off. Is that when you moved up here, or?
I never moved up there actually. So I got laid off from Activision in 2011, and I stayed in California. But I was in Los Angeles, so I stayed in LA,
Right.
and I was doing some freelance work on other video games. And then when I started playing with Exodus, I never worked a job again after that.
We're gonna lose Mike here, man. He's probably like 4 or 5 freaking
You don't understand.
and a couple bowls into it now.
I wrote the book, bro. I wrote the book. I'm good. I gotta go on a bike ride with my dog in a few minutes here. Yeah.
Shit. Like my dog.
I'm selling this shit too, yeah.
I'm supposed
Oh wait.
to run?
So,
You want me to run? Dude, fuck.
Yeah, I gotta ride my bike for 4 miles in a few minutes. My dog is surfing the whole time we're talking. I take my dog on the bike.
He's fucking looking at me like I raped his sister or something.
oh my God.
Who are you talking to? Yeah.
So wait, Kragen, are you still in LA then?
No. So about 5 years ago, I moved to Little Rock, Arkansas.
Whoa.
We played a show here, an off day. We had an off show from when we were on the King Diamond tour, and I met my wife actually when we played the show here. So we were basically together and trying to figure out like, were we gonna have her move to LA or me move to Arkansas? And she was just starting a business. And I think for us to try and make it in LA with me being a musician and her having her own business, it just would have been financially impossible. So I actually, in my really young years, my parents moved us all over the country. So I've lived in, this will be state number 5.
Wow.
Okay.
But for me, it's great because the people here are nicer than LA. There's no traffic. I was able to basically sell the house that I had in LA and buy this place, so I don't have a mortgage. So my wife and I can really afford to do what we want to do, and we don't really have to worry. I mean, we still have to worry about money, but it's not as brutal, you know?
Yeah.
Especially being a musician and living on musician money. You know, there isn't a lot of it, so we're just trying to do kind of more with less, and I think it's worked out great. I mean, aside from the humidity, it's great, you know, living here.
So Kragen, how much is
That's cool.
how much is an average house in Little Rock, Arkansas, like a 3-bedroom house?
It depends on where you are. So I mean, there are places here where it's kind of strange how it always seems to work out in every city of states where there's the west side and the east side. But if you go to the west side, it's newer homes, more expensive. I think I know what the prices are going for because my parents are probably going to move out here from LA. And so the more expensive homes are like 400,000.
Yeah, fuck off.
The less expensive homes, like I mean, you could go about 15 minutes outside the city and get a place for like 60 grand.
Jesus.
I don't think it would be a place you probably would want to be. But you know, I mean, we live in sort of a middle class neighborhood, and it's like
middle class.
It's in the like high ones.
Middle class.
180s, you know, like.
That's great. Yeah.
So I mean, it's everything's more affordable. The car insurance,
Look at
property
March.
taxes.
Mark's in San Francisco, and she's living at Amoeba Records.
Yeah. Prime real estate. Yeah. Now Arkansas is beautiful. Though. I like it there.
It is actually. I mean,
yeah.
There's they call it the natural state. That we went to the Buffalo River not that long ago to go canoeing and stuff, and there's a lot of national parks here. It's really nice, and I mean we got lucky and found a really nice place where backyard neighbors. And our backyard kind of looks like nature. There's like a big rock formation because we're up on the top of the hill.
Wow.
And it's like, you know, I just like being able to have my coffee and look outside and it looks like nature, you know, instead of looking at my neighbors. Whatever. You know. In LA,
that's what we're all going for.
Like
yeah.
Kragen, you said you had a young son like a long time ago. How old's your son now?
He is 27.
Holy shit.
He's older than Mike.
Oh, you said young son?
He's an almost grown man.
So Eric's not 340. You're 340. What, are you a Highlander also? What the fuck?
I just started really young.
Yeah.
I'll be 49 this year.
Shut up. Really? I'm fucking 51. I'll be 52 in a few weeks.
Mike, when's your birthday?
Same as you, fuckstick.
Like, I knew Mike for so long. We knew Mike for so long, and then we were even a band for a while. And then one day we're at a barbecue. I'm talking to his girlfriend, and at the time she goes, "You know, what are you guys gonna do for your birthday?" I'm like, "Oh no, it's coming up next Thursday." She goes, "No, that's Mike's birthday." I'm like, "No, it's my birthday." I'm like, is his birthday August 10th? It's like,
shut the fuck up.
We didn't realize that we had the same birthday. It's so stupid.
No, shut up. Hey, hold on.
See, you got a whole bunch of Legos.
Your birthday's August 10th?
Yeah,
right?
Come on, man. 72, 8/10/72.
No, it is not.
Yeah, I shit you not.
What the fuck? We have August 10th here. Paul's bass player.
That's awesome.
Oh my god.
Now
You're
we
weird
have
now,
to
kid.
Shut the fuck up. That's insane.
Fuck.
That'll be the birthday show. You could do a virtual one.
What
You
the
could do a
fuck?
virtual one.
Ted, you rule, dude. Fuck.
Matt?
I love Ted.
How
Fuck
crazy is
yeah.
that? That's the craziest shit.
Damn it.
There's two other motherfuckers. Damn.
I love Paul Hopkins. What the fuck? He's not here. That
Wait,
motherfucker.
Max was saying, when was your birthday, Max?
72?
Your birthday's August 10th too. No way. All right.
You fucker. You got me. That's fucking great, dude. I was about to take off running, man. Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, Leo.
Me and Nick are fucking weird. I don't know. And now Ted too. Ted's weird too.
Wait, you said 1972? You said 1972, Ted?
I've never met anybody with my same birthday, much less two.
Oh, you met two on the same day.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
Right now.
Yeah.
I'm fucking up.
We're gonna have a virtual birthday party. Happy hour.
I know where you're coming from now.
It's not even August 10th, but I feel like partying right now.
I can tell.
Yeah, it's kind
Well,
of
thanks, you
going
guys.
down.
I'm gonna stop the recording for now, but yeah, this was awesome. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. This was phenomenal.